Welcome to the Pulse with Peter B. I'm your host, Peter Biancamano. Let's get you to the pulse on everything you need to know. And we're here at the beautiful Il Tavolo Di Palmisano, located at 700 Clinton Street in the beautiful city of Hoboken, New Jersey. And we have an extremely special guest that you met last week, which of course is Desirée Perez from Telemundo and our new pulser, as I like to say. She will be taking over the host chair with a person who is, of course, very familiar to all of us, and that's Krista Stucchio of that #FoodPick. And who wants to see me when we have Desirée and Krista standing by? Desirée, take it away.
Well, thank you so much, Peter. And I am here with Krista. We just met first time. This is my first segment with you, and I'm so excited.
I am so excited to see you instead of Peter. It's always a delight when I don't have to sit down with Peter. And this is why I am dressed like this, to match Peter's vibe.
Yeah.
And you're over here in a white dress, which, by the way, I'm a little bit nervous for you.
I'm really glad that I wore white for this segment. Totally not aware of what I was doing today.
We're going to be okay.
You are from at #FoodPick, which I find it really, really interesting because it just makes sense.
It does.
#FoodPick. All right, so this is what you do for a living, and I'm really
Pretty much.
excited. I do have a question. What do you look for when you go and you try the food and you want to tell people in your social medias? What is it that you're trying to look for to give them a glimpse of the food?
That's a great question. Well, all of these dishes look super vibrant. I always look for vibrance.
Yeah.
And I like things that kind of have like either a twist or they're super classic.
Okay.
Because I feel like that classic, a classic dish is super comforting. And then if you give me a dish where I'm like, I've never had that before, I want to tell the world.
Yeah.
Because the weirder the dish, the better.
Yeah. You feel like it tastes better.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you like those dirty foods? You know those dirty foods that you see on Instagram and TikTok, and you're just like, oh God.
Yeah, the food porn.
I know.
Yes,
yeah.
I do. I actually saw something on Instagram today. It was a coffee, and it was an everything bagel coffee. And that's something that I think a lot of people would be grossed out by. It had like cream cheese on the inside instead of like a whipped cream.
But where's the coffee?
It was somewhere in Georgia,
so
it's not
okay, got it.
But yes, those things are very attractive.
I thought you meant like it was a bagel, like an everything bagel with coffee in it.
They gave you an everything bagel on top.
Oh, on top of it,
yeah,
right.
But there was seasoning in the
coffee.
coffee.
That sounds pretty good.
Yeah,
that sounds pretty good. Okay, well, we have some. Which one do you want to try first?
So I think we need to start with apps. So
the seared ahi tuna.
Start here.
Let's start with the apps. Okay, so let's get ready.
Yes.
What do you like to eat the most? Do you like fish? Do you like ribs? Do you like pork?
The dreaded question.
Okay.
I am all over the place. It's very hard to pick a favorite food.
Okay.
I am a meat eater. I love fish and I love my carbs. So
yeah.
What about you? What do you?
Well, I like to eat more like lean, I guess you could say. So I don't eat a lot of like red meats and stuff like that.
Well.
More the white meats for sure.
Okay.
But I do love pasta, which I'm really excited about this. If I could eat pasta for like every day my whole life, I would. I totally would.
All right, so this is a seared ahi tuna. I'm actually not positive what is accompanying this, but whatever this sauce is looks...
It looks delicious,
I'm a saucy girl.
Okay.
Ooh.
Oh, God. Oh, my God, that's so good.
Wow. It's almost like a spicy mayo?
Yes, there's like a little tinginess to it, and it's quite soft.
It is.
Okay, I feel like one of those people at, like Top Chef, where they do, this is really good.
You're trying to pull the textures out.
Okay, perfect. My question is, do you like to eat a bunch of apps? Or
that is a great question.
Or, because you can have a little bit of everything. Or
I
do you like to have big plates?
I like having my own meal, but when there's a lot of good-looking things on a menu, I want to try it all. So this is really nice.
Okay, all right, great. Okay, so 1 to 10 on a seared ahi tuna.
Oh, I give it a 10.
A 10?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I give it a 10.
That was really, really good.
That was really good. Okay,
I'm swap it out.
What do you want to try next?
We're going for these ribs over here.
Oh, the ribs. Okay.
Italian ribs. I guess we'll
I
just
haven't
pick
had ribs
this up.
in so long.
I know, you just said you're not a big, you do the
Wait,
meats,
how do you, oh.
I'm going to eat it
well,
like a rib.
Well, this just came off, so it looks like it's pretty good.
It's cooked really nicely. All right, let's go.
I don't have to put it on my full plate, but.
Watch your dress.
I know. Guys, somebody tell me if I have some.
Oh my God.
This is spicy.
Oh, it's
I
not
like
that
it.
spicy for me.
Oh, is it?
Maybe I need a spicier bite.
No, but it has a little tinginess to
It definitely
as well,
does.
too.
Yeah.
Same with the ahi tuna. Honestly, not a disappointment. This place has really, really good food so far from what I'm seeing, what I'm trying. And I think I'm going to come back to eat more.
This is
Okay.
reminding me of my nanny's Italian cooking.
Oh.
When she makes the spare ribs and puts it in the sauce or the gravy,
Sauce, yeah.
whichever one you guys prefer. I know
Ita-
there's a big debate.
You're fully
I
Italian.
am Italian,
Oh,
yeah.
wow,
Not
okay.
fully, no.
No, okay.
My dad's side, yeah.
Okay.
So
1 to 10 on this one.
I think I need
How
to
would you
eat this
rate it?
more, but I'm at like a 8.59.
Okay.
Yeah.
What's lacking what's
I think
happening
I
with-
needed it fresh out of the.
it's a little bit. Okay,
Yeah, it's just been sitting for a few minutes, so it's not hopped. But it's
Okay.
delicious.
No, it is delicious. It is pretty
It fell
soft.
right off the
You saw
bone.
that I grabbed it and it just like the piece fell off,
Exactly,
so it's probably
exactly.
really good. Yeah. Okay, what's next? What are we trying next?
Let's move on to
This is the sashimi
sashimi
and summer sauce, which I'm really
Yeah.
curious what summer sauce is. I
with
don't
vegetables.
know.
So
With vegetables, yes.
this is a nice light summer dish.
Okay. Do you mind if we
just
just
go
grab?
in.
Yeah,
Yeah,
we'll just
that's
grab
fine.
like
This
this.
side will be
Okay.
mine.
Yeah. Okay. Perfect.
I got some veggies right here too.
Oh. This is my. Sorry, this is my jam. I like this
I
one.
would eat this entire bowl.
Yeah.
10 out of 10. This is so fresh.
10 out of 10 for sure, 100%.
It's like a
This one for me tops the tuna and the ribs. What do you think? Does it do it for you or no?
I think so too.
But they're all really good.
Which is really shocking. I don't know why. Because it looks basic,
right. Yeah.
but the flavor.
No, the flavor is
Super
really,
light
I'll have
and
to try
fresh.
it again. Let's see. I don't think I tasted it properly.
Delish. Okay. We're running low on time because we're getting so into
Okay.
these.
This is the
So let's go in on these
pork.
last two together.
pork
Milanese, it's
pork
huge.
Milanese. Yes.
Do you see how big this is? Oh my gosh. Let's just here. We've got
Okay.
these heavy duty knives here.
Okay.
I don't know why I'm cutting such a big piece.
Okay. Now, would you eat this whole thing in one shot?
Absolutely
Yeah?
not. I
Okay.
would
No.
say that I would want to, but there's just no way. This thing is huge. This is a sharing plate for sure.
Yeah, totally. So
Oh,
now,
wow.
how many plates do you think you order at a restaurant to feel like, okay, do you know what I mean? Like, how many do you need to try in one shot?
Depends on how many people I'm with.
Okay.
But I think if I was by myself, just like 2 or 3. I'll take some home later. Wow, this is amazing.
This is really good.
The crisp on that pork.
It's very crispy. It tastes really good. I don't know what they season it with, but it's really good.
It's a salad.
And the salad on
It's a
top
salad.
makes it
All right,
better.
the grand finale.
Okay, there you
Let's go in. We've got sashimi again in a pink sauce
With
shrimp.
shrimp. Yeah. Okay.
Oh my god, I love a pink sauce. I don't know how, this was too big of a bite for me.
See, I told you I can eat pasta all day. This
All
for
day.
me,
All
probably
day.
these two are my best
The
friends
little
right now. I
pasta
love them.
purses, they're the best.
Yes. But Krista, we are out of time.
We are. I'm gonna keep eating them.
We're gonna keep eating, but I'm really excited to keep doing this with you. Okay?
Yeah, it was so nice to meet
Thank
you
you so
and eat
much
with
for
you.
joining me today, and I will see you next time.
Peter Biancamano, your hostess with the mostest of the Pulse with Peter B. Folks, don't forget to go on our Facebook and our Instagram pages by searching the Pulse with Peter B and like and follow us on each of those platforms. We're constantly updating those pages with previews of each week's segments and cool stories. Also, if you have any questions, feel free to reach out to our email address at thepulsewithpeterb@gmail.com.
Hi, welcome back to The Pulse with Peter B. I'm hosting a segment today. My name is Skylar Vann, and I'm Peter's intern as well as his production assistant. And today I'm joined with my good friend, Kai Hansen. He's the student body president at Seton Hall. How are you today, Kai?
I'm doing great. I'm happy to be here.
I'm glad. So today we're going to be talking about Narcan. Can you explain exactly what is Narcan?
Absolutely. So Narcan, or naloxone is, I think, the generic term. It's an opioid antagonist. So as many of you guys know, right now, it's an endemic sweeping America. I think it's the leading cause of death for certain age groups, including college students. And basically what Narcan is it's this new drug that's been developed. It's a spray. It's a nasal spray that you can use to basically stop somebody from having an overdose. So when somebody's overdosing on an opioid, whether it be fentanyl or heroin, their body stops, their heart stops, they stop breathing, and that's why actually people die. And so what you can do is you can hit them with the nasal spray. Instead of the opioid binding to the opioid receptors in your brain, the Narcan binds instead. It's a competitive antagonist. So basically, it stops the opioid from binding to your neurons and saves lives. It'll buy you like 10, 15 minutes, and just basically give you enough time for EMS to get there. Mm-hmm. So it's really awesome because it's cheap. You can just walk into Walgreens now and get it. You don't even need insurance. And essentially, my plan is to try and get it in everywhere I can, whether that's on campus, off campus, because it's a really easy, really cheap thing, and it saves lives.
Yeah. So now that we know a little bit about Narcan and everything, I know that you're wanting to implement it at Seton Hall. Yeah. And you've talked to a lot of people about it and everything. And I was just wondering exactly how are you planning to implement it at Seton Hall?
Right. Good question. So basically, I just became student body president. It's been like 2 weeks, so I'm brand new. But my goal, I've been working with student services. I've been working with the lovely Dean Van Norman. She's helping me out. My goal is to basically train students to be able to use it. So our public safety's trained on it. Our front desks have it, and it's available. But I want students to be able to use it because our students, Seton Hall itself doesn't really have an opioid problem. It's more of a national problem, but our students are going to be part of the national community, and we're sending them out, and I want them to be well trained and know how to respond to emergencies. So my goal is to basically have training programs for students, so they can, hopefully, in the event of an emergency, save somebody's life.
Yeah, that's a really good plan. I really think that is really great what you're doing for our school. We're going to take a quick commercial break, and we'll be right back.
Welcome to Hudson River Care and Counseling. Hello, I'm Dr. Pam Pater-Ennis, the CEO and founder of Hudson River Care and Counseling with over 30 years of clinical social work experience in therapy. We are a progressive counseling and coaching practice with a diverse team that brings a holistic approach to clients. We offer support both in person and through digital platforms such as telehealth. Consider us a safe haven that you can trust with care for your mental health needs. Visit our website to set up a consultation today.
Hi, welcome back to the Pulse with Peter B. Thanks for sticking around after the commercial. I'm back here with Kai Hansen, and we're going to talk more about Narcan. So previously you stated that how to use Narcan, but what are some of the signs that you need to look for in an opioid overdose?
Absolutely. So stopping breathing, and I mean that's the biggest one. If somebody stops breathing and it's in a situation where they would likely have overdosed, typically you give CPR. So if you don't have Narcan on hand, you give CPR, chest compressions. You can give rescue breaths. And then the great thing about Narcan is that even if you're wrong, there's no harm. There's no harm to the victim, right? So, whereas with an EpiPen, which is another great life-saving device, if somebody's not having an allergic reaction, you hit them with an EpiPen, then there can be some side effects that aren't super pleasant. But with Narcan, it's just there's some liquid in your nose that wasn't there before, right? There's no like neurological response, physiological response at all, which is phenomenal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's great. I see that you have a little prop now of the Narcan.
I know. Robert, actually, the manager of the restaurant, actually had some. His sister's a nurse, and so he recently went to a seminar and they talked about it, and I'm so glad they did. So this is what it looks like if you want to go to CVS and just pick it up. Like I said, you can actually get it for free. You can apply for it for free online with I believe it's RX Pharmacy or MyRx, and you can get like a certificate, get it for free. They're doing a great job of really getting it out there because it really does save lives. Yeah.
Do you think that Narcan should be available not only just in schools but in big cities like Hoboken, for example?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the more readily available it is, the better. And like I said, it's cheap. Even if you don't have insurance, it's $30. So if we could have it like on the side of the road, if we could have our police officers and people trained with it to like carry it with them, I mean, I think especially in bigger cities, you see higher prevalence of drug abuse, things like that. So if we could have this available in bigger cities, in big buildings, even, I think that'd be phenomenal.
Yeah. So what really got you interested in Narcan and like wanting to implement it?
Well, I think it's really cool, first of all, right? But I also I saw a need, especially within like on college campuses, because of just college campus in general. I think there's a high people, our frontal cortexes aren't fully developed, right? People maybe aren't making the most responsible decisions all the time, right? So to be in positions where either they're drinking or smoking weed or things like that, and you don't know where that stuff comes from, right? A lot of times people are just drinking stuff in the basement of parties, things like that, and the trust that people have in just whether it be frat guys or their friends or just somebody they know to be responsible and also even know dosage, right? Things like that. I think it was scary to me, right? That people weren't prepared for the worst possible scenario. So that was big. And then also my mom. My mom is a really big proponent of Narcan. She's like, I want you to have it in your dorm. I want you to have it in your backpack. At first, I was like probably 18. I kind of just rolled my eyes, right? But I've really come around. I'm a big fan of it now. Yeah.
Yeah, I really think that's really great what you're doing for our school. I know that you wanted to I know it's ready available in the dorms, but you also want to get it in surrounding areas. Do you plan to talk to any local businesses in the area to get them to purchase it and everything?
Well, absolutely. So I think working with the town, like town-gown relationship is a big part of my role as a student body president, right? Meeting with the mayor, meeting with like the police department, the fire department, rescue squads, and just making sure that this is available for anybody that needs it, maybe not just Seton Hall students.
Yeah, exactly. And do you think that your major, so what is your major?
I'm a chemistry major, yeah.
Do you think that your major like boosts your interest in all this stuff?
Well, it certainly interests me in that like I can talk about it and explain what like chemically it does. Now, like the stuff I do, like my organic chemistry class, we're not particularly covering like what Narcan does, right? But certainly, like I hope to go to med school at some point, right? I'm in the Joint MD program at Seton Hall, so I plan to get my MD and go on. And people's health is a big deal for me, and certainly, so that's reflected both in my major and in my passion for Narcan. Yes.
Yeah. Well, I really think it's really great, like I said, that what you're doing for our school, and I just want to thank you for coming on.
Thank you.
Me and Kai have actually been friends since the beginning of freshman year.
Yes.
So
we've lived across the hall from each other, like 2 years in a row now in the residence halls.
Yes. So yeah, I just want to say thank you so much for coming on.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me. Appreciate it.
Now we're going to take a quick commercial break, and we'll be right back.
Peter Biancamano back with you. Don't forget to watch us on cable access every Sunday and Monday at 9 a.m. Optimum Channel 18, Files Channel 46, and Comcast Channel 190. Also on Sunday mornings at 9:30 a.m., you can watch our show on our YouTube channel, and you can also binge watch all of our old shows. Who doesn't want to keep watching The Pulse with Peter B? We'll see you there. Welcome back to The Pulse with Peter B. Peter Biancamano in the host chair for the first time on my own show. Can you believe it? We want to thank Desirée Perez and Krista Stucchio of #FoodPick in the first segment. And then, of course, Skylar. We're going to miss Skylar, our spring intern, and she did a phenomenal job in the last segment talking about a medical issue and leading into my next guest. So it worked out perfectly this episode. And, of course, that is Dr. Tina Shah. Welcome to The Pulse with Peter B.
Thank you for having me.
Exactly. So, Dr. Shah, I don't even want to go over your resume. I think it's important that you let the audience know, how big of a deal you are. So we're going to just tell the audience a little bit about yourself.
Okay, sure. I'd love to. Well, I'm from New Jersey, grew up in Plainsboro, and have had a very interesting track in that I started off wanting to help people like most folks that go into medical school. And then, I'm happy to share a little bit more, but actually got burnt out, and it put me on a very different trajectory where I have been privileged to have served in 2 presidential White Houses for President Obama and for President Trump. And then last year actually got called back to the federal government and was senior advisor to our U.S. Surgeon General. And if that's not tiring enough, I still practice as a pulmonary and critical care doc at Newark Beth, and I love that job.
Wow. That's it I can say on that one. We are very, very humbled to have you on. I mean, working for 3 presidents, certainly, and now coming on our local cable access show, it means a lot to us. And thank you for your service. What the people at home don't know, and I'm sure you will agree because you just mentioned about being burnt out, is that the amount of work that goes into working in the government and the little pay you receive, and you really do it for the love of this country.
Yeah, that's absolutely true. And to be honest, I think I was loosely politically active leading up to working in the White House for the first time. Like most folks, I voted for big elections. I was definitely watching when it was something really contentious, but didn't really feel the connection up until I finally got into the government and saw how one little decision you make there has massive implications. So it started to put together for my brain just how important government is, from how easy it is to get food, how easy it is to travel. I ended up taking public transportation partway to get here, and that's because of a lot of the decisions that happened with the local government here in Hoboken. So it was just really, really cool to sort of finally understand why government exists, what powers it has, and how it can really help people. And I was pleasantly shocked, and I'll say this as a person that's worked both on the red side and the blue side in the federal government, that there are good people on both sides, which I thought was pretty cool.
Amen. And you were just going to lead me up to my next question. Why can't we all just get along, right? And that is the atmosphere, the environment of working in, let's say, an Obama administration as compared to a Trump administration, as compared to a Biden administration, is probably night and day, to say the least.
I think it depends where you sit. I have to be honest.
What do you mean by that?
So here's the thing. There's kind of 2 pieces if you think about the federal government. There are the folks that are the civil servants. They are always there. So they watch presidents come in and leaders get appointed, and then they watch administrations change. And their job is to make sure that no matter who is at the helm, that the business of the government is being carried out. And so to me, there's this one group of, I like to call them your dependable, lovable uncles and aunties, right? They're always there. They're always going to take care of you. And then you have our political appointees who, are rightfully so, are appointed for their opinions and for where they see the country needs to go. Now, there's sometimes a discrepancy there. You might have seen it.
Yeah, a little bit.
A little bit.
A little bit. Shutting down the government and all of that. Anyway, but no, that is fantastic. We do have to take a quick commercial break.
Okay.
When we come back, we're going to focus more on your medical work since you are a doctor, and we're very, very humbled to have you on. Thank you for joining us again. But stick with us through the commercial break. Folks, you're not going to want to miss it. More with Dr. Tina Shah right after this break. We will be right back. Welcome back to The Pulse with Peter B. Still here at the beautiful Il Tavolo Di Palmisano, located at 700 Clinton Street in the beautiful city of Hoboken, New Jersey, and still joined by our very special guest, Dr. Tina Shah. Did you miss me during the commercial?
Of course I missed it.
Man.
Of course.
So here's something I have to admit. I ask everybody that, but you seem the most sincere.
Well, I'm a doctor. I'm definitely sincere.
You have to be, right? Absolutely. It's better than just being a television host. But anyway, so Dr. Shah, let's talk a little bit about, you brought this up before the commercial break, about burning out and how the medical field is in need of people working in it. I mean, and, I think that most of that comes from the negative connotation of the whole pandemic and so on and so forth, where people really stopped trusting doctors. So from a medical perspective, I mean, why should you trust doctors? I mean, and you were at the highest level of your field in government. I mean, and what do you want to say to possibly people at home who probably were thinking about going into the medical field, but were a little hesitant for doing so now?
Wow.
That's a long question. I'm sorry.
How many minutes do we
I
have?
know.
'Cause
I'm like,
I
need water or something here. Go ahead.
Well, I guess I would just put it this way. Doctors and other healthcare professionals, we train and train just like elite athletes, and we know our craft. And our craft is based on science, and that is facts that come from decades of research. So when we speak to give our medical opinion, it's really not an opinion, it's based on research. And this is lots of data to inform what's going on so that we can help you with your health. And I think what happened during the pandemic was we had this other issue go on where there was rampant misinformation.
Right.
I mean, we're still dealing with it, right?
Right.
So I think some of this was very obvious. I don't know if you remember, there was this medicine called ivermectin. And
Yes.
in some parts of the country, this is a medicine that we used to treat things like funguses and things like that.
Right.
And other types of worms and things like that. But it really has not borne out to be helpful for COVID, yet we had such a strong push. In fact, people were getting belligerent almost to demand wanting this medicine when it wasn't based on science. So somewhere along the way, but
What was the other?
oh my
hydrochloro. I couldn't think of it.
hydroxychloroquine. I
There you
believe.
go. Correct.
Right.
Yes. Which also wasn't a cure for COVID, but people just wanted to have something. And you could have hurt yourself by taking this. I mean,
That's right. That's absolutely right.
Right.
And we know that vaccines are the things that work. And then we have some medicines like Paxlovid, which really help when you already have COVID, and especially if you're high risk. But something has happened along the way. And this isn't just related to medicine and your health, but we have misinformation problems in pretty much every single facet of American life now. And so it's really important to go back to the people that have actually trained, that say things based on science, like doctors and nurses and other healthcare professionals, because it's really hard to sift through what's on the internet now.
it's crazy. I mean,
Yeah.
absolutely crazy. And the thing that drove me crazy the most, and is that people stopped trusting doctors, and the medical professionals were heroes at the onset of the pandemic, and then when people started getting restless to be for being in their homes, they turned into villains. And to me, that was just mind-boggling to me. From somebody that's in this profession, what did you feel by becoming from hero to villain?
You know, I have to say, those feelings haven't gone away. And even though we now don't have mask mandates everywhere, we're still in the disaster zone when it comes to healthcare.
Right.
Every month when I practice in the ICU, and I'm an intensive care unit doctor, so I see the sickest of the sick, we're still battling very, very dangerous disaster conditions. We sometimes have supply shortages of medicines. We have patients that come in with misinformation, and so it takes us time to educate them on what's really happening with their bodies and to figure out the next move. And we don't have enough people. We literally don't have enough nurses and sometimes doctors, and some of that is related to misinformation causing stress, causing burnout. And I have to share a couple of really shocking stats.
Sure,
Is that okay?
please, of course.
So I don't know if folks know this, but we lost 10% of the physician workforce in 2021. We had almost 100,000 physicians retire. So
Probably most of them early retirement.
right. It
Wow.
wasn't intended. People left early. We know there's a nursing shortage. Every time I work, I know there's not enough nurses. We all want to do all the things for our patients, but we literally don't have enough trained professionals to do those things.
Incredible.
So, I mean, we are still in the fire. Although things look better, it's almost summertime.
Right.
But this is a time where you really need to listen to people that speak the truth that is science so that we can stay healthy, because our healthcare system is in that process of breaking down.
Wow.
And so sometimes I think, if my mom gets sick, is she going to go to a place where they have enough nurses and they have all the supplies they need to take care of her well? And what can we do to reverse that? That's sort of where my head's been the last, I'd say, almost decade, thinking about how do we address the things that drive our elite athletes known as physical therapists and nurses and pharmacists and doctors so that they're there when we need them?
Wow, unbelievable. I'm just, you know, with that information, speechless. I really, really am. We are out of time, but I do want you to mention to the audience, besides your profession in Newark, what else do you do?
Well, so after working for the federal government for quite a few tours and really getting involved in technology, I now have a consulting business where I work with hospital systems as well as startups that are really trying to tackle these workforce issues. So how do we make technology work better for the nurse so that he doesn't spend 42% of his time nursing the computer instead of nursing the patient? And that's those are some real data to show kind of what we're doing right now. So this is all about how do we redesign how healthcare works so people can just do their jobs and heal patients.
And where can people find more information on that?
I'd love for you to come and see me on my website. It's www.tinashahmd.com, and I look forward to hearing from you.
Well, Dr. Shah, unbelievable. This, I feel like I learned so much. I mean, we've been doing the show for 4.5 years, and I don't feel like I've learned more in the last 9 minutes than I did in the last 4.5 years. Thank you for all your service. I mean, you worked your way up in Washington, like I said, for very little money, and now you're trying to make a difference here where you grew up. So we really, really appreciate you having you on. Absolutely. And we hope to see you soon.
I would love to be back.
Absolutely. All right, thanks again. All right, folks, join us next week for The Pulse on everything you need to know. I am Peter Biancamano. I hope you have a great week, everybody.